So Yeezy brand is back doing something completely different, or exactly the same, depending on how you look at it. So let's talk about it. One thing's for sure, we have the exact same box. Nothing has changed over here. 700 boost on the side. Let's slide this box open and let me show you guys what we're working with today, and just get ready to be hit with some color, because honestly that's what this sneaker is all about. This is the Yeezy 700 V1 High Res. I will say also included in the box is an extra pair of laces, because guys, listen, this is one of the biggest changes I guess on this pair of sneakers. You've got infinity looped lacing on the 700 V1. How bizarre is that? The extra pair of laces does come the exact same color. However, the actual style of lace is a little bit different. It's kind of like the oval style that you find on regular 700s. Either way, here we go. We got them in. This is the first brand new Yeezy 700 V1 colorway to drop here in 2022. And they picked probably the loudest colorway yet. I mean, last year we had a string of super loud colorways like the Sun 700s, the In Flames, the Wash Orange, the Bright Blues, but these change it up definitely quite a bit. Thing is, last year we pretty much had the blueprint for upcoming Yeezy 700 V1 colorways. Remember that image that Kanye posted to Twitter? Well, we had all of those different samples, and throughout last year we pretty much were getting a release of every single one of those. But as you can see, looking at that image, these were not included in that sample circle. Seems like maybe Yeezy brand has progressed past that image, and now we're getting newer colorways that we just haven't seen yet. Either way, let's get into some specifics about this pair of sneakers, because they did drop yesterday. That was June the 17th, and the retail price, it remains pretty inconsistent with this model and just throughout the entire Yeezy lineup. Like, they originally started off this V1 model at £250 or $300, and then they dropped it down to £220 or $240 US. Then they raised the price back up to $250, $300 out in the US, and now they dropped it back down to £220 and $260 randomly in the US. Like I said, the retail prices for pretty much all of the models seem to be fluctuating up and down. It's almost like Yeezy brand just charges whatever they want based on the colorway. If it's gonna do well, if it's not gonna do well, maybe they raise and drop the price, because the Wave Runners, I know for sure, have always been $250. The release of these things seemed pretty easy to get your hands on these. I mean, they're still available in some specific retailers, which you can go and pick up right now. I mean, we pretty much just had a restock of everybody's favorite colorway of the Yeezy 700 V1, the Wave Runner, so it doesn't surprise me that maybe people have what they want out of this model in terms of colorways. So I must admit, initially this wasn't my favorite colorway. I didn't think this is a must-have. However, I definitely thought it was interesting and needed to get this one in. Now, getting these things in hand, I will say the colorway does seem to be a little bit more cohesive than just looking at pictures online. Now, maybe that's just the amount of time that I've been exposed to this colorway, but it does seem like, even though it's pretty chaotic, it does kind of work. Now, I haven't completely changed my mind on them. It's not like this is immediately my new favorite colorway of the 700 V1, but I can definitely see myself warming up to this colorway over time. Problem is, there's just so many upcoming colorways of the Yeezy 700 that I would probably choose over this this one, like we're probably gonna get another restock of the Wave Runners. It's also this pretty cool high-res blue colorway, which kind of takes on a similar theme to this one. It's just all over like icy blue. And then who knows what we're gonna get on Yeezy Day. We could get some new colorways, some restocks of some absolute bangers from the past. It just seems like for a lot of people, unless you're really into this specific colorway, there's a lot more on the horizon that you might want to take instead of this one. The most, I guess, standout color on here is obviously that very deep red that you get for, I guess, the majority of the upper portion of this sneaker, including the mesh panels on the medial and the lateral, the sock liner, the tongue, and of course the really nice leather eyelets, and then around towards the back of the shoe. It's definitely a pretty overpowering color because it kind of makes this shoe look entirely red, whereas there's a lot of other colors on here, as you can tell. Now, one thing I really do like about this colorway is the accents of black that they added to the upper of this. You can see all of this black suede kind of wrapping around, kind of acting as the mud guard. It also moves towards the back of the shoe. I think the black really breaks up the super loudness of this sneaker, and especially when you mix it with this gray, which you find on the toe box, again in that really nice nappy suede. There's also a slightly darker variation of that gray for the mesh panels on top. In the center there, you're kind of getting a little bit of that duller red, almost, I guess, burgundy to some extent. That's the same color that you find on the midsole, and then of course the laces. Now, just as they used the black and gray to bring down the loudness of this colorway a notch, they brought it right back to 11 by including a really nice orange and teal hit, bizarrely enough. It is really just a small accent color around the back and then the teal towards the front of the shoe, but it changes the sneaker completely. It's kind of what got me thinking about the 700 V1 colorways that they've been doing. It almost seems like this model is dedicated to colors that you would never really expect to go together. 700 V1 is kind of like a going against the grain in terms of throwing colors on a sneaker. I think that was a lot of people's first impression about the Wave Runner. They didn't really like it because the colors were so bizarre. Over time, the Wave Runner grew to be like one of the most popular Yeezys full stop, so I can definitely see people warming up to this color, maybe even making it one of their favorites because again, it's just so different. Thankfully as well, in terms of quality, materials, and just the general construction and feel of this sneaker, the reduced price tag hasn't changed anything. You're still getting the really nice premium suedes and leathers and just a solid feeling pair of sneakers. And for sizing, I personally go true to size with the 700 V1 and V2, so that's what I'm going to recommend to you guys. But yeah, guys, listen, this is loud, this is crazy, this is all over the place in terms of its colorway. I think it's cool that we're just getting more variety with the Yeezy lineup in general, not just the Yeezy 700s, just all of them. And I think this is a cool little addition. Not my favorite, but hey, I'd love to know what you think of this colorway down in the comment section. Thank you so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another one. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one, but until then.